I have been dreading recording this video because I'm about to update you on my full brain meds journey, and I've been dreading it because even saying that there is even a brain meds journey has been my worst nightmare, something hard to accept because it's my brain, it's my mind, you know, it's where I get these crazy creative ideas that I have to record this darn video that I don't even feel like I wanted to, but I think I should, and deep down inside I know it's necessary because it's going to be about a year now since I discovered that I had a metastasis to the brain. I have been living and thriving with metastatic breast cancer since 2017 when I found out that it was in the lungs. I was diagnosed in 2014 at 24. It's been a long journey, okay? From the get-go, I always said that I was going to record because I've always felt so alone. And let me tell you that I never ever felt more alone in my life when I found out that it spread to the brain. And I was desperately seeking for hope, and there weren't that many hopeful stories. I know that Brittany Beadle and Chris, the founder of Copperfield, really helped me get through. Them sharing their unique journeys with brain metastasis really inspired me to see how they are still thriving today. So 1 year later, since I found out that it spread to my brain, I figured why not do the same to you, to my beautiful community. And I really truly hope you don't need this video. I really truly hope you can't relate or you'll never need this video. But if you do, then it's here, right? It is here for you. All right, so rewind. Let me start with how it all happened. So last year, around this time of the year, in May 2020, I started having really bad headaches, and I thought it was side effects from the medication. I was just switching from Verzenio to Zolota. I had a bunch of complications with Verzenio. I really just thought that it was side effects from my medication. So I had really bad headaches. It felt like migraines, which I never really had migraines in the past. And it also felt like I had really bad whiplash. And so I couldn't hold my neck up. It felt like my head weighed like a bowling ball. And so my neck was always sore, my shoulders were sore. And then when I really called it in, which I probably should have called it in way before, which I actually did, but my doctors were just monitoring it, thinking it was also just side effects from my new chemotherapy, Zolota at the time. And so when I really called it in was when my left leg would start to go numb, and I'd have these spasms too. I'd have the spasms where it would just like hurt, felt like I got electrocuted. And so my left leg would also go numb, and I remember walking Neo outside trying to get some air, and I couldn't walk on my left leg. It was on May 20th, 2020. Crazy numbers there. We did an emergency CT scan to the brain, and it showed several lesions, about 13 if I'm not mistaken. And that was a complete blow. Every time we hear about brain meds, it's not great news, right? Like, how can it be? When my oncologist told me about it, of course I was shocked, but like, you always get this feeling deep down inside, right, that this is not my end. I got that feeling. So because I had 13 lesions all around the brain, my oncologist recommended that I do whole brain radiation. 5 fractions. Usually it's done in 10, but I was in severe pain. I was having little spasms. My leg was numb. So he decided to do it in 5 fractions. And I was to begin again immediately the following day. And so I had my first round the next day, and I believe my last round was May 27th. And before each round, because we're living in this global pandemic, there are restrictions. Usually, you know, my family would come see me or something like that. We couldn't do that. So instead, at the bottom of my parking lot around my car, I was surrounded by my brothers, my cousins, my aunts, some of my best friends, my in-laws. They would come over, they would stay outside, we'd all wear masks, and we'd say a quick prayer prior to going to every single treatment. And that really, really helped me, because let me tell you, it was a very painful, traumatic, and isolating experience. And out of this 8-year journey that I've now been on, that was probably the worst. Whole brain radiation, each session was just about 10 minutes. It was very quick, but I just remember feeling completely like I was hit by a truck. And it was really difficult because I had to get a radiation mask molded, and you're really locked into the machine. It wasn't the most pleasant experience. After that, we let a couple of weeks pass. I believe it was June 11th that my radiation oncologist called me with fantastic news that I responded very well to whole brain radiation. And that was the first results where I found out that the spots in my head actually shrunk. So it was working, and he said that the radiation effects were going to continue to work. So I remember being completely ecstatic. I cried because, you know, I could have easily heard the absolute worst, where, yeah, the spots didn't respond to the radiation. And not only that, after only 2 rounds of whole brain radiation, my head stopped hurting, thank goodness. My leg was back to normal. I no longer had spasms. I no longer had pain. I was taking steroids. I was taking the Decadron pills. That was another story, because it was hard to take those pills, and it was even harder to wean off them. But by June, everything was a-okay. So my radiation oncologist suggested that we do another brain MRI to check up on my brain in December. And so we did, and that's when things got a little bit complicated, and where my story with my brain mets is a little unique, because when I did my brain MRI in December, I believe it was December 2nd, we found mixed results. And he's like, I have good news and bad news. The good news is some continue to shrink, some disappeared, but the bad news is some reappeared, some are growing, and some new ones appeared. So that's no good, and that's not fun. But thankfully, because I had done whole brain radiation, it had shrunk the spots significantly enough to now have this small window of opportunity to do Cyberknife. And that's a question that I got and that I was really looking into, because it's much safer and as well as more effective to do targeted radiation therapy, also known as stereotactic radiation therapy, I believe. Stereotactic radiation therapy. I'm not quite sure. Let's write it down here. Because everything got much smaller, my Dr. Hijal recommended that I see Dr. Valérie Paneremo, who specializes in Cyberknife therapy. And we were approaching the holidays, and I'm like, how urgent is this? And he explained how it was such a small window of opportunity because we don't want them to get any bigger for Cyberknife not to be for you not to be eligible to Cyberknife anymore. So it's important that we do it immediately if Dr. Paneremo agrees. And so again, I think that was like, I got the results the day after, December 3rd, and then on December 9th, after Valérie Paneremo started doing all the calculations, it was confirmed that she would be able to treat about 11 spots in my brain. And so this was the most difficult part. The plan was to do Cyberknife in 3 fractions. But do you know how long one fraction took? An hour and a half, guys. So I was under this crazy robot looking thing for 1.5 hours, was not allowed to move. And my first fraction was the worst experience in my life because I wasn't dressed properly. I had a hoodie actually, but I was told to remove my hoodie because the hood was gonna get in the way of the radiation mask. So I had to remove my hoodie. I had my hospital robe, but my feet were freezing. Like I couldn't even feel my feet. So imagine being so cold for like an hour and a half and not being able to move. That was really hard. But then the second fraction and the third one, I came prepared. I wore really comfy wool socks. I wore a sweatshirt without a hoodie, and I made it through. But whew, let me tell you, that was a crazy experience. And I think I was dreading recording this video because I kind of wanted to like repress it, and I feel like I have repressed it. But yeah, that was really tough. So my third and last fraction was on December 14, 2020, my best friend's birthday. I was hoping it would bring me some luck, and I believe it did, because my next brain MRI was January 25th, and we found out that Cyberknife did the work. The brain lesions shrunk significantly, some disappeared. We finally saw regression. What was left was just very small, and we were very happy about that. So we got the good news, and my radiation oncologist was like, you know what, let's do another brain MRI in like 2 months and see how things goes. And I was super nervous for that brain MRI, which was in April, on April 6th. I was nervous because, you know, there was that trend of like one good scan, one bad scan, one good scan, one bad scan. And we just had a great scan in January, February. So then what's April gonna look like, right? And I'm super happy to announce that my brain MRI on April 6th also showed good results. And without further treatment, Cyberknife was still doing its job. And my last results have shown that they have decreased. They're still shrinking, and she can't even see a couple of spots too anymore. And even my Cyberknife oncologist was like, hey, do you want to come see the images? I mean, if your oncologist is inviting you to come out of your way to see the images, it's because it's good images. And so I did, and this is the video.
So these white spots?
Yeah.
That's the lesions.
Okay.
Okay. So let's come back up. So we see there's a lesion here, okay? And that corresponds to this one.
Okay.
So to give you a sense, when we treated it in December, it was 1.27, and now it is 0.7.
Wow, okay.
So it's shrunk down. And then this one, when we treated it in December, it was 1.67, and now it's down to 1.
I see.
So, and then there's some that, and this is what I was saying, that I don't even see. Like this one here, it seems to have gone away.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
And that was the first time I was actually seeing inside my brain. And as hard as it was to accept, I'm really proud of how far I've come. And here we are, 1 year later, and I'm feeling great. I'm actually still doing chemotherapy at the moment to have everything controlled in my body. But that's another story and another update. I really just wanted to focus on my brain mets journey because, as I mentioned, there's not much out there. And I'm just hoping that, you know, perhaps this is what God wanted me to do. So like, here, God, I'm sharing this part of my experience, even if I held back for so long, and I'm hoping it helps someone and I hope it serves. But like, okay, it's done now. Can I get a break? No more, please, no more. I just wanted to say a huge thank you to my entire oncology team who came to my rescue last year. They still come to my rescue till this day. While I do believe that the treatments has helped significantly to get the results that I have today, I also believe what helped are my complementary therapies. So it's been a year that I've been doing pulse electromagnetic frequency to my brain and my entire body. And since I've been doing PMF at Clinique Neurovie with Mr. Toy, my results have been great because PMF is said to help regenerate the cells as well as help with the efficacy of treatment and so much more. But it's all about repairing your cells and getting your body back to the way it's supposed to be. And I really believe it's helped prevent a lot of the necrosis, which is the scarring of the tissue in your brain when you do whole brain radiation. So I highly recommend that. I'm also starting hyperbaric oxygen chamber, but I've only started that about a week ago. And I think combining all of that, I have a great chance. And of course, just my healthy lifestyle and a lot of self-care. And as per usual, just this deep belief and knowing that things are going to be okay, and I'm really just at peace with life because I want to be here. I want to live, and I will do everything that I can to continue to be here and to continue to live. And I think that will is 99% of it. And let me tell you, disconnecting from social media all of last summer and just being a little less active, updating here and there on Instagram, definitely very less active on YouTube aside from these updates. It's been really healing for me. It was something I needed to do. So I thank you so much for your patience with me, and I just hope that I can give you this video to anyone who unfortunately needs to hear from someone who's also going through a brain metastasis, because I want you to know that there are options out there. Cyberknife helped, whole brain radiation helped, PMF is helping, and I'm still going, and I hope that you keep going too. So that's my update. I will try to come back and update you more often. Just know that all is well, all will be well, and I love you. Be patient, be kind to yourself. I will see you soon.